This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Barker's got a big one, Darren Barker over Zoom. For those who won't get that reference, that is his Zoom name, which appears before allowing him to join.
Well, it's not me. My wife has changed it, so she's only telling the truth.
I'll have to take your word for it, mate. How are you doing? How are things going?
Good, mate. Good. I'm still buzzing off of the weekend, if I'm honest, mate. It was a fantastic night. I've just finished my last bit of prep for fight week 2. So, yeah, ready to go again.
Just before we do go reflect on that and come on to this week, just compare the two fight camps, last summer to this summer. How do they differ? How is this one better? What was better from the last one? How would you assess it?
Well, for me, one thing that was equally as good was the entertainment. That the fighters are absolute warriors, and they dished up some fantastic entertainment for all of us. And I feel absolutely privileged to be sitting ringside and watching these warriors compete. They're leaving it all in the ring. It's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, that was the same. Last time we was treated with decent action, and now this time was exactly the same. But I think the difference lies with the obvious fact that there was 300 people there, and they made themselves heard, especially Jack Cullen's army, Little Levers, massive, the Barmy army. So they made a difference. And it was just a buzz around the place. It was new, it was fresh. And from what I could see on my monitor, obviously I was commentating on the early fights, I could just see, it just seemed buzzy. It seemed good. It just seemed fresher. It just seemed, new and exciting. I think as far as the first show is concerned, I don't think it could have gone much better. You have to understand that Matchroom have taken control of the production, and they've done it all themselves, and they've acquired a fantastic team, but still it was the first one. And I think, well, I text Eddie, and Eddie's happy, and it can only get better, which is exciting.
Well, I'm glad Eddie's happy, mate. Otherwise, there would have been an issue there.
He's a perfectionist. He's a perfectionist, Eddie. I'll tell you that. Not only because his job requires him to be a perfectionist, but he's a massive fan of the sport. He's a boxing fan. I know he gets a bit of stick, God knows why, because what he's done for boxing is fantastic. But I can honestly say he's a proper boxing man. He's grown up with it. He knows it. So it's important for him that he gets it right. And equally for me, just going on to the commentary that I had done, like Eddie and myself, and I think most people in boxing have so much respect for the boxing fan, because we are one ourselves. So you feel you have a duty to get it right. And look, sometimes it doesn't always happen, but I think Saturday it all went to plan, and Eddie can be proud of the show that he delivered.
Let's go back to this Saturday then, Darren, and start off with that headline fight. A brilliant last-minute stoppage win from Leigh Wood against Zukan. But from what I saw, including myself, most had him winning the fight anyway if it had gone the distance. But to look back on it, what did you make of his performance, his win, and a bit of a statement that he sent out as well?
Yeah. Me and Chris did a tactics show a couple of weeks ago, and we were going over all the top of the bills and looking at pros and cons for each fighter. And I think one of the things we looked at was Zukan has a tremendous engine through over 1,500 shots against Robles, and it was, I think, a featherweight record. But when your game is volume and work rate, you sort of want to be active for 2 reasons, really. 3, you want your time and your distance to be able to get close. And also you need the engine. So the more activity, the more time under the lights that you do, the more chance you've got of being able to maintain that level of output. And obviously he'd been out the ring 2 years. So it was always going to be, there was always a few question marks about it. I thought, if I'm deadly honest, it would have been Zukan points or Leigh Wood stoppage. You've heard that Ben Davison waxing lyrical about Leigh Wood's power. So you start thinking, well, Zukan's in front of you all the time. Leigh Wood's not going to struggle to catch him. So, blah, blah. But that wasn't the case, really. Though he did stop him in the last round, I think Leigh Wood was winning on points. I had him comfortably winning 3-4 rounds. But for something like that, I quite have to go back on my card. But I mean, maybe 4 rounds, something like that. I didn't add it up at the end, but he was comfortably winning. And to stop it in the last round is a buzz as a fighter, by the way, because it shows that you still got that engine to go in the last round and finish the job in the last round. And any fighter will tell you it's quite a nice. Though you like to get the job done early, you don't get paid for overtime. But it's nice to stop an opponent late, and Leigh done that, and he made his dreams come true. Look, it's a WBA regular. Say what you want. He'll be calling himself a world champion, and rightly so. Not because of the belt, but because of the caliber of opponent he's beaten. Zukan's a good fighter. Very tight guard. He's tough to nail cleanly, and I've no doubt he'll come back. And I must give him credit for the class that he showed after the fight. He gave everyone a bow at the end, and he was just beaten by the better man.
I don't know how true it is or not, but I saw a few reports this morning that Zukan might have a rematch clause. If that's deemed to be the case, and he was to go ahead and make good of that, do you think a second fight would be any different?
Depends how quickly. I mean, like I've said at the beginning of this chat, the way Zukan fights, it's important to be active so they can get him once his suspension's up, because he'll be out of the ring now for 30 odd days, I think it is. They'll want to get straight back in there. But equally, Leigh Wood's going to be buzzing. He's going to be full of confidence. And I, to be honest, I see the same thing happening again. I was impressed with the distance control that Leigh Wood showed. He was very impressive with dictating the space with the lead arm, and then firing the right to the body to the head. A lot of them were caught on the gloves, I must say, but still, it was enough for him to win the round. So it'd be an interesting fight, but I think I fancy Leigh Wood again. I would. I think, like I say, he boxed really nicely, good variation, picked the shots well to the head and to the body, and yeah, it was a good fight. And if I was Zukan, I would definitely have the rematch again, because you can end up chasing titles and you can get lost in the wilderness. So he's got to activate that rematch clause if there is one. But for Leigh Wood, more of the same.
With a terrific fight on the card, saw Chris Billam-Smith overcome Tommy McCarthy with a split decision win. Just your thoughts on it? Did you have it for CBS, Darren?
No, I had 1 round McCarthy, but I couldn't argue with CBS getting it. The scorecard at the end 116, 112 was wrong. It was never a 4-way swing. So yeah, I had McCarthy by 1, but like I say, couldn't argue. Probably the fair result would have been a draw, I guess, to actually make them do it again, because I don't know if Billam-Smith will take the fight again. I'm not sure. It's big enough to warrant a rematch, 100%, because the first fight was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't watched the whole show back yet, but I don't know how it looks on TV. But being there live, and I was at ringside, sat next to Chris and Andi, it was brilliant. I loved every second of it. So I'd love to see it again, and I think it's a fight that warrants a rematch. But yeah, I don't know what Shane and Chris will do. I'm sure they'll try and move on to bigger things. But fingers crossed that Tommy can get the rematch. Lovely lad, but they're both bang on. They're both good fellas. It was a brilliant fight, and I'd love to see it again.
Where do you think Richard Riakporhe will match up in all of this? Obviously, he has wins against both of them. So you'd imagine that either of them would maybe be keen to maybe right back.
How long has he been out now? A couple of years, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years. I mean, I guess he would want to get back in there, probably with some sort of tune-up fight first. Again, I can't stress this enough. You can do all the sparring in the world, but it's not until you're under them bright lights with the fans, with the 10-ounce gloves on, it makes such a big difference. So you really want to get your timing and your distance in, and you only get that on fight night, because obviously, not to bore you, but when you're sparring, you're wearing the head guard, 16 or 18-ounce gloves. It just isn't the same. So yeah, Richard would probably want to get in there first, little tune-up fight, then get in with one of the big guys. But he's not far off. If he chooses not to have a tune-up, he should be able to get straight back in there. But yeah, the division's looking. We haven't always said this about the cruiserweight division, but there's some tasty fights in there. And Lawrence Okoli, obviously, we're not still unsure, aren't we? There's not been any news yet, as far as Okoli is concerned. I must say, Okoli's looking big. He's looking massive. So I don't know if he's got it in his head to move up to heavyweight yet already. I'm not sure, but he's looking big. He's looking like a heavyweight. I don't mean fat. He just looks solid. He's an absolute giant at cruiser. But anyway, it's interesting. I'll be watching with my popcorn, seeing what materializes.
Darren, another fight on the card, which has led to a new fight being announced for October 9th. Anthony Fowler's stoppage win against Rico Muller. Firstly, just get your thoughts on Fowler's win.
Yeah, I guess that was what Richard Riakporhe would be after. A tune-up fight. It was nothing more than that. What I will say is Muller, I'll give him credit, because when I've done my bit of prep before and I watched him, and you look at the record, he fought Jeremiah Ponce, who beat Ritson down at super lightweight. He fought him 2 years ago. So naturally, he was just a lot smaller than Fowler. So I started thinking, look, he's going to have to move. Fowler's physically strong against anyone at super welterweight, light middle. So you'd think Muller would just get on his bike. He didn't, did he? He was a tough German, compact, tight guard, didn't offer many openings, and made it difficult for Fowler. But as the rounds went on, you could see the redness. The left eye of Muller's was damaged, and I shook his hand after. I said, "You're a tough man," because I know he's a handful, Fowler. But yeah, it was just rounds in the bank. It was another fight, another camp under Shane McGuigan, and we roll on 9th of October. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's a pick and fight. I think many would probably go with the class and the caliber of Billam-Smith, where he's fought and who he's fought, and at what level he's competed at. Most would probably go with Liam, I think. But Fowler, though he's 30, he's the fresher out of the two. He is improving, and it will. So I'm hearing. Should sell out. He should get 10,000 in the Echo Arena. So I'm looking forward to getting to Liverpool in October. I love Liverpool. I love it. It's a great fight city. The fans know their boxing. So I'm looking forward to getting back up there with what will be a cracking top of the bill.
How would you break down that fight, Daniel? I spoke to Liam yesterday, and Liam's confident that once kind of the 4th and 5th round have passed, he'll gradually break down Anthony and stop him.
I think both will come to the centre of the ring and try and box from the centre. I don't think it's going to be an out-and-out war to start with, but it's going to be exciting. I think they're going to opt at times to stay in the pocket. I think there'll be lots of angles. We've seen how well both men work to the body. I thought Fowler's left to the body, the long left hook was a really good shot. He'll be trying to get round the elbow, the right elbow of Billam-Smith, as will Smith with Fowler. So I think there's going to be some real good action in the middle of the ring. Not quite in the pocket, but at arm's length, moving. And yeah, I think the exciting part of this fight that I look forward to is when it does get halfway, and I imagine there's not going to be a great deal in it. I think it'll be quite, they are evenly matched. But I think who's then going to put their foot on the gas and start to try and push their opponent back? That's what I'm looking forward to halfway through that fight, to see how both men approach it, or if one remains completely disciplined and sticks to their boxing. Personally, I can't see it. With that crowd's going to be going nuts. I think it's North and South Liverpool divide. Yeah, it's a blinder. It's a good fight. I'll have to do a bit more. Though I know both men really, really well, I just want to study it a bit more before I make a prediction. That's what I usually do with all fights. Though I know, most fighters, as we all do, I'll go into more depth with things that I can see, to pros and cons. So I might say, this isn't the case. I'm just giving an example. Oh, I've just watched Billam-Smith. When he throws a left hook, he drops his right hand. I've also noticed that Fowler throws a really good right hand. So they're two components that could work in favour for Fowler. So I'll do a bit more of that before I'll make a prediction.
All right, Darren, we will move on to this week's show now, because I know you're going to have to shoot off soon. Kid Galahad, Galahad-Dickens, a rematch a few years on from their last outing. How much better of a contest do you think this one will be compared to when they previously met? I know obviously in Kid's case he stopped him, but
Yeah, do you know what? It's a blinding fight. It's hard to say if it will be better than the first one because the first one was so good and they were a little bit less experienced. So sometimes when you aren't as experienced, you do things that you shouldn't do, but sometimes that leads to better entertainment because you see that fire and you just want to get stuck in. But now they're both fully fledged pros at the real peak of their game. Kid Galahad truly believes he should be going into this fight as the world champion. He believes he beat Warrington. Many do. I had it very, very close and could have had it in favour of Galahad. Galahad-Dickens is on a great run of form, winning the Golden Contract. Just it's almost like the rebirth of Galahad-Dickens. He's just done a great run of form. And yes, it's going to be a cracker. Like I say, me and Chris did the tactics show for it, and there's a lot of good that both fighters done. Jazza changes the levels really well. And that's exactly what you've got to do with someone like a Kid Galahad, someone from the Ingle gym, the Winker Bank setup. Because what happens with them is sometimes when they don't bring their feet up, they come tall, they lean back. So changing the level body, then coming to the head is the correct thing to do. And Jazza does that really well. So that'd be something he'll try and do. And I'm so impressed with the angles that Kid Galahad creates. He moves so well either side from either an orthodox stance or a southpaw stance. And he creates the openings. That's a blinding fight. Can't wait for it.
that one when they first met, it was best part of 6-7 years ago at least. How much better do you feel both individual has become as time's progressed?
Yeah, I think they're both improved. Like I say, confidence for both is through the roof. Galahad believing he's a world champion, and Dickens on this great run of form. Really, really is. Beat some really good opponents. Walsh, he's had that experience of being in there with Galahad. He's just buzzing at the minute. He's enjoying his boxing. They both are. And what they lacked in the first fight, they both had now, and that's experience at that championship level. So that's the main reason they're better fighters. That understanding of the game and being able to deal with the pressure of a big fight occasion.
Depending on, we spoke about potential Zukan and Wood rematch earlier, but depending on what was to happen there, would you be interested in seeing the Galahad-Dickens winner versus Leigh Wood?
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be good if they could somehow elevate Leigh Wood, get rid of that regular, elevate Leigh, and then get the winner of them two fighting. But it all depends on this rematch clause. And then we've got Warrington floating about. It's there's so much. It's brilliant. It's great. We've got so much depth through most of the divisions in this country. It's great. We're buzzing, and then you just got to go. Just touching on the Olympians. I mean, wow. I'm in awe of their showings in Tokyo. They're just what talent we've got. With what's going on, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing with Matchroom and DAZN and the way boxing's booming in this country, and then to have that new crop of fighters coming through, it's just the longevity and we've just got staying power. We've got a lot of good times to look forward to, and boxing is just buzzing.
100%, Darren. Just a couple of other fights to touch on for this weekend. Wardley Webb, break it down for me.
It's good fight. Good fight. I've been impressed with Fabio. He had some questions asked, didn't he, in Gibraltar against Molina, who's a tough, rugged, strong man, but he come through it. He had his chin tested. He had a test there, and he come through. And like I say, didn't have it his own way, but got the win. Nick Webb had a good win over in Gibraltar also against Pfeiffer, who was an unbeaten German, but beat him easy, to be honest. He's another fighter who's full of confidence. There's a bit of needle. It's a good fight. I'd probably favour the freshness and the speed and the movement of Fabio. It will go rounds though, this.
And then just final one, obviously Alan Babbage, Mark Bennett. Most will see Alan Babbage winning that fight, but beyond Mark Bennett, what do you think needs to be next for him?
It's a tough fight, I will say that. Bennett's game, I see him in the Ultimate Boxer against Webb. He's tough. He can take a good shot, and he throws a really good overhand right. So he'd be a handful. He's got a good chin as well. And the question mark always about Babbage, though I know Alan now, and he's a lovely guy. I like him. He's a top man. He's got amateur pedigree that a lot don't know. That he represented Croatia. He's fought a lot of very decent fighters. Kalik actually fought Kalik 4 times. A guy who could push the Boatsy all the way. Hold on a minute, mate. He can box, but he said to me, "Why? I don't want to change. People are loving my style. I'm doing the business. I haven't gone past 3 rounds yet. Why should I bother?" He'll get some rounds here, I think, against a tough Bennett, and then I guess you've got to keep creeping up through the ranks and through the levels. So you could be close to a sort of international title, somebody ranked in the top 20-15 of one of the governing bodies, and try and get him to climb up gradually. But one thing's for sure, he's so entertaining, Babbage, and I always buzz when I see his name on the card.
Final one, Darren. Joshua Usyk official for September 25th. Finally, just get your take on it. Is this? I've seen a few people raise a question mark. If AJ is successful, it's his best win on his resume. Do you think so?
But he's untested at heavyweight, really, isn't he, Usyk? That's my issue. And I've no doubt he's the most talented out of the fighters, but the best, I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyway, if Usyk was to beat AJ, then you'd say he was, wouldn't you? But right now, it's hard. Hasn't looked amazing at heavyweight. Derek Chisora give him a nightmare. AJ, I just think AJ is going to be too big and strong for him. I've no doubt, absolutely no doubt, he's going to have some tricky rounds early on to overcome, because Usyk's going to be nice and sharp. I'm curious to see how quick his hands are going to be, because he's definitely piled on the pounds. But no doubt they've done it in the correct manner, with the S&C out there now. I'm sure he's got some Ukrainian nutcase has got him in ledge condition. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see. Look, he's so good on his feet. He's so nimble. He's so quick. Slides in and out of range. Quick hands. Great variation. And can punch. Don't get me wrong. He can punch up at heavyweight. But just that physicality. And other than probably Fury, the only person that can match him for speed with hand and feet is AJ. AJ's rapid. He's very, very quick. When he has to be, he's very quick on his feet. He's quick on his hands. And I just think, though he's going to have to remain patient and we'll go through some annoying stages where he might lose a few rounds, I just feel as it goes on, 8, 9, 10, I think the power will start to show. And I think he could get Usyk out of there late.
Right. Dazzling Darren Barker. We will leave that there now. Leave it to
Whoa. Say my name again.
I'm not. I don't think I'm going to be repeating that one.
I'll say it. Barker's got a big one.
Right, Darren, I appreciate your time, mate. Have a good Monday. Thanks for Beats Boxing Social.
See you later on. Bye.